Welcome to this critical next step. Until here, we have gained already the theoretical insight that fear directs us only away from complete fulfillment. And we also know that fear and pain are born out of the primal misinterpretation or even out of an idea what isn't even true. For me, it was also very difficult to grasp that our fear and pain are based upon an illusion and therefore can be anything else than an illusion too, because our fear and pains actually do feel very real. Now, do you know why our pain feels real, even though it is based upon an illusion? Well, the answer to this question was one of the biggest insights for me. And would you like to know why? It is not our emotions that hurt, but our resistance to feel. That is what hurts. It's like our blood flow that doesn't hurt if we simply let our blood flow run through our veins. But when we would obstruct our blood flow, it will start hurting. All emotions are actually neutral. Emotions are just a flow of energy running through us. And it's only our interpretation that makes it good or bad. And only by our own interpretation, we allow ourselves to let these emotions run freely or start obstructing them or resisting them. And it's the resistance that hurts, not the emotions. Now, when we would detach our story or our misinterpretation that makes us resist some emotions, then we wouldn't feel any pain anymore, no matter what circumstances. And this explains that two different people who experience exactly the same emotion or the same event can experience the exact opposite emotions because of the opposite story that they choose to label on the same event. It's like some people experience pain when somebody dies because they fight the event, and others are celebrating with joy because they completely allow the event. The only difference is a different story to the same event. So what we are going to do next is to learn by experience, to let go of every story and allow all emotions without obstruction or resistance. And it will give you an instant feeling of complete fulfillment. And then we're going to experience how this will benefit our day-to-day life. Now, I'm going to give you a conceptual overview from what we have seen so far by a drawing. So what have we seen so far to make our mind open up for our cleansed reality? I will make the drawing. So we start at the very beginning, at our birth. We are feeling completely fulfilled. But then, because we still have the perception from our insight of before the 14th century that we use our 5 limited senses to judge whether we are disconnected or connected, that makes us believe an illusion that we are separated. And that illusion of being separated gives pain, and that pain will set around our pure, fulfilled heart. Now, none of us want to feel that pain, so what we have learned to do is to build a wall around our pain. And how do we do that? By stopping to feel. And instead of feeling, we start a life in thinking. And this is our brain that starts to look for distractions away from our pain, but also away from our pure, fulfilled heart. And we look for distractions in our relationships. Our relation has to provide us with the bandages to not feel. The same with materialistic things. Since we are disconnected, we feel small, worthless. We are building materialistic things or buying them
that has to give us a fake identity that we have self-worth. The same with our bodies. We feel empty, disconnected, and we are using our bodies to fill them up with as much food instead of feeding our body the way it is supposed to. If that doesn't work anymore, we are going to use medication, and this will cover up the dis-ease that we are actually living in. And this is the fake identity. And if we stop looking at the warning signals that our immune system gives us, that the direction that we are going isn't our natural direction that makes us feel cleansed and completely fulfilled, the warning signals become bigger and bigger, and the dis-ease becomes bigger and bigger until it all breaks down. And this is also the system where fear arises, because this is an imprisoned system. And why it is imprisoned? Because if we stop, for example, the relationship that provides us with the bandages, then our cover or our protection mechanism doesn't work anymore, and pain comes through again, and we don't want to feel that. So we need to have either another relationship that provides us with a bandage, or other materialistic things, or other food to fill us up. And every time we become used to it, because it doesn't ever gives us a feeling, because we're running away from our feeling. So we need to add them up and accumulate even more and more things. This is a very exhausting system where we do not have time for anything apart from looking for distractions. And that's why so many people say, no, I don't have time for this, I don't have time, because they need to look for distractions in their phones or whatever. So this system of fear and pain is based upon looking for distractions in time. So I draw a clock here. And so time distracts us, and also our thinking. So how do we get out of this system that is, first of all, based upon an illusion that we interpret the disconnection of ourselves on our five senses, while we are actually all connected? Well, very simple. The only thing we need to do, here we are using our thinking and time to not feel. So how do we have to go to complete freedom and feeling fulfilled again? Well, we have to learn to feel again. We have to learn to stop time again. And we have to learn to stop our thinking. And then when we stop our thinking that is now 97% of the time busy with looking for distractions away from ourselves in our fake identities, now when we feel completely fulfilled and become connected again with who we always were and always will be, then we also know what our natural function is, and then we can start putting it into action, and then we can use our brain 100% to make it possible to put it into action until we will get there. Here we are actually disconnected little cells, or actually we're believing that we are disconnected little cells, disconnected from the rest of the body, of the rest of the world. And that's actually, we want to make ourselves bigger in what we do, in what we achieve, in what we know. Actually, the same thing as cancer. A cell that believes that it's disconnected from the other cells and disconnected from its natural function tries to grow bigger, from disconnected from the other cells. That is cancer. And actually that is what we are doing or creating in the world, that we are brought up to believe is the only possibility. So now we know what true healing means also. True healing means that we aren't disconnected in the first place. So we are whole and complete already. And we don't need time to get there. Not a nanosecond actually. When we believe that we need time, for example, we need another 10 years of personal development to get here, that's also a distraction, and also at the same time the cause that we never get there, because we already are. the only way to get there is to realize that we already are there. But how are we going to do that? We are going to learn to feel again. And that is the next part. This is the conceptual part that we did already. Now we are going to the practical part. And then we are going, when we have time again, we will have the space and time, instead of to react when pain comes through and look for a distraction, we will have time and space to respond to true connection, or to respond physically what is good for our body and the rest of the body. We will be able to respond also materialistic or financially, that everything when we give away to the rest, it will flow back as well if we know how to. So this is the difference. Now we are going to from reaction to responsibility, and we are only going to learn to feel again and what benefits it will give on every certain level in your life.
Now fill out the PDF underneath this video, and then you are ready